there is among us a new and heavenly kingdom. In our worship and our fellowship, let us dispel the shadow that conceals it and realize its truth. If you travel to the small Spanish town of Villanueva de Sillena, about 60 miles north of Zaragoza, you will find a statue in front of the local parish church, portraying a seated, scholarly-looking man with a beard, some local worthy, you might think, a distinguished mayor or local politician. Well, he was a local worthy, I suppose, someone in whom his hometown and his country now take great pride. But he lived most of his life abroad and died a brutal death in a foreign city. Michael Servetus Conesa alias Reves was born into a respectably Orthodox Roman Catholic family in Villanueva in 1511 and was baptized in the local parish church. But he grew up to challenge the very foundations of the doctrines that were taught there. It wasn't only the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church that he was to challenge. It was also those of the 16th century's mainstream Protestant reformers. And one of them was to conspire with the Inquisition to put an end to this dangerous heretic, as they believed him to be. If you'd been in Villanueva one November evening in 2005, you would have seen a candlelit procession winding its way to the statue from a house a few streets away. It was composed of Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists from many countries. At the statue, they, or rather we, held an act of worship to commemorate the man it portrays. The house was his birthplace and his home until he left Spain to carve out a career as a biblical scholar, a physician, and a Renaissance man. Michael Servetus became known to English speakers by the Latinized form of his name, Michael Servetus. That evening concluded a visit to his birthplace by members of the International Council of Unitarians and Universalists. He is honored in our faith tradition as a pioneer and as a martyr, because it was for his faith that Michael Servetus was burned at the stake in Calvin's Geneva in October 1553. This doesn't mean that we would necessarily agree with all of his theology or identify with all of his beliefs, of course. And even some of his near contemporaries, who we also regard as our forebears, rather went out of their way to distance themselves from him. Their problem with Servetus was his willingness to look beyond the Bible to help form and support his ideas. Although this was a problem for people like Faustus Socinus and Francis David, it is not a problem for today's Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists. Quite the contrary, in fact. And so we might actually find more reason to appreciate Servetus than some of our predecessors would have done. This service marks and celebrates the beginning of the 500th anniversary year of his birth. Servetus was, of course, a biblical scholar and a man whose own faith was founded on the Bible. So I'd like to read to you now two Bible readings written, or translated I should say, by William Tyndale, the man who anticipated the authorized version by some considerable time. This is from the 1534 translation, and so it is a translation contemporary with Michael Servetus. First of all, from the book of Deuteronomy. Hear, Israel, the Lord thy God is Lord only. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt wet them on thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou art at home in thine house, and as thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be papers of remembrance between thine eyes, and shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and upon thy gates. And secondly, from the 16th chapter of John's Gospel. These things have I said unto you, because ye should not be offended. They shall excommunicate you. Yea, the time shall come that whatsoever killeth you will think that he doth God service. And such things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father, neither yet me. But these things have I told you, that when the hour is come, ye might remember them, that I told you so. These things said I not unto you at the beginning, because I was present with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asketh me, whither goest thou? But because I have said such things unto you, your hearts are full of sorrow. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, that Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. Words from William Tyndale's translation of the Bible. And a short reading from the Gospel of Thomas. Jesus said, "It is I who am the light which is above them all. It is I who am the all. From me did the all come forth, and unto me did the all extend. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift up the stone, and you will find me there." Now we sing our next hymn, number 46, "Breathe on Me, Breath of God," a hymn which in many ways sums up very well aspects of Servetus' own theology. 46, "Breathe on Me, Breath of God."